Hey there, everybody. This is Kenny. Welcome back to another edition of Sports on the Positive Tip. I'm here with Kenny Squared. We have conversations at the intersection of sports and faith. Can I have a trivia question for you? Our own, well, it seems like he was our own because I think he's more known as a Knick than as a Denver Nugget. He had great years there, but our own Carmelo Anthony went into the Basketball Hall of Fame. It doesn't seem like he was retired 5 years, but he went in along with Dwight Howard. Um, my question for you is there is one player that is in the Hall of Fame that wasn't drafted from college, that wasn't drafted, only one player, and he's pretty recent. And I will just give you the hint of Knicks going to see the Knicks on your birthday.
Oh, is it Rasheed Wallace?
Well, you're
No,
close
Ben
on the
Wallace.
Ben Wallace. There you go. Good job. Yeah, only player not drafted. Obviously in for his defense and was a great defensive player. Uh, Kenny, this was the week I fell asleep, went to bed on three things. So I was getting ready to go to bed on Saturday night, and I get the alert that Yamamoto has a no-hitter against the Orioles, the Dodgers. And I said, "Oh, let me go see if I got out of bed. I wasn't totally in bed yet. I came out of the bedroom. I turned back on the TV, MLB Network, and they've got it. And then I see Jackson Holliday's home run with two outs in the ninth inning. That just stings when you get that far, right? But then I went to bed. I was like, okay, no hitter over. And then you text me in the morning. The Orioles walked off the Dodgers. It's like, what? It was 3-0. They got 4 runs. They brought in a reliever. He walked everybody, but I totally missed it. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I also missed the Bills' big comeback on the Ravens because I went to sleep in the third quarter. Sunday's a long day, and I also missed, and we had our event for Monday Night Football, but everybody left at halftime, and I turned the game off the third quarter. I missed the Vikings big comeback on the Bears. Did the same thing happen to you this week?
Um, well, I didn't see it live. I just um with the no-hitter comeback, which that's I think they said it's the seventh time that a team has lost after being no-hit, or a team has won after being no-hit for 8 and 2/3 innings.
That's crazy.
Um,
Yeah.
I did catch all of the Sunday night one. I was like looking at, I was kind of like, okay, well, this game is kind of a blowout. And then I look and I'm like, oh, like the Bills have the ball back. And I did watch that. Um, Monday night, I feel like the Twins slept weird. So I don't remember if I saw it live or when they
Yeah.
woke up, I saw that they came back.
Yeah.
But I didn't
Yeah.
watch that live.
I felt so bad. The Bears played so well for three quarters, you know. Here's the last quick thing I'll say, and we'll jump into the regular show. Harrison Bader, I think I have these numbers right. And the Mets, obviously, I have one more game. Not obviously, but they have one more game with the Phillies today. They've lost these first three in terrible fashion, by the way. They've just been crushed all three games. He's 16 for 29 against the Mets this year. Uh, I mean, I was asking you last week, do ex-Yankees come back and kill the Yankees like that? Ex-Mets come back and just kill the Mets? I mean, Harrison Bader was very good for the Mets last year, but not 16 for 29. Oh my goodness. Are you ready to get this going?
Let's get into it.
This episode of Sports on the Positive Tip is brought to you by the Tavern Coffee House. Attention, coffee lovers! Are you craving the perfect cup of coffee to start your day? Well, look no further than the Tavern Coffee House. It's located at 12302 Buckeye Road in Cleveland, Ohio. You can also check them out and order your coffee at thetaverncoffee.com. Hey there, everybody. This is Kenny and
Kenny squared.
with the Sports on the Positive Tip podcast. Lots to get into, Kenny. We are right in the thick of it now. Week one of the NFL in the books. 16 games left for most teams in baseball. So we are right in the very home stretch of the pennant race. But first, we pause. Today is September 11th. So we pause for a second. And I just remember how well baseball handled, September 11th, everything stopped. I think baseball didn't play for another week and change again. And I remember Gary Thorne was announcing for the Mets at the time and how somber he was just about through the whole game. The Mets played the Pirates in Pittsburgh. I don't remember who the Yankees played first game back, but it's a somber day for us here in America. But we hope and also with what happened yesterday, we hope that for this next hour we can take your minds off it and we just talk about sports, which in the whole big scheme of things is not that important. But sports did play a big role, I thought, in healing, the nation because I mean, there was nothing to watch, right? You just watched news coverage of what was happening at 9/11. And I remember that first Met game. I couldn't wait for baseball to come back because I just needed to take my mind off it. What are some of your remembrances?
Well, that's why I'm wearing the Yankees
Yeah,
America shirt today is for 9/11.
yeah, very
Um,
cool.
which yeah, I mean, there's a few that stick out. The Mike Piazza home run obviously is
Yeah,
one of the most dramatic home runs of my lifetime.
yeah,
Um, which I don't think is like that overstating, like it really was.
yeah,
And then obviously the Yankees run, but like I think in that scenario, George Bush throwing out the first pitch,
yeah,
um, which like I believe I'd have to look it up. I know Trump is going to be in attendance tonight at the Yankee game. I don't know if he's throwing out the first pitch, but I'm sure he won't get a rousing standing ovation like George Bush did, just because of the nature of our political landscape right now.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but then also, one of those images that always sticks in my head is them flying the flag that was at Ground Zero. I always really like that picture.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's still like one of those. This could have been a really good storybook ending if the Yankees won that World Series, but
yeah, yeah,
especially with the way they came back in both of those games, it was just wild.
yeah,
Um, I
yeah,
do like though that next year, which is the 25th anniversary of 9/11, once again the Yankees and Mets are playing. I don't remember where, but they are playing on 9/11.
yeah, yeah. That's a good job by baseball. I'll tell you just one quick memory, and we'll jump in. We'll start with baseball first. I was probably that yeah, it was late October, right? Early November, because the World Series went into November that year. And I was emceeing an event at Sprint, big event, and for a couple of days. And one of the things I talked about in between as I was emceeing was how the owner of might have been the owner or GM of the Diamondbacks said before the World Series started, said that just because the whole world feels bad for New York, we're not going to take it easy on the Yankees. We don't feel bad. We're out there to win. And when I repeated that, I mean everyone stood up and booed the Arizona owner, and then it was this is you're not talking to a Yankee fan as everyone knows, but everyone was like, what they do at Yankee Stadium. Let's go Yankees! Everybody spontaneously, both days. It was two different audiences, one day and the next day, and both of them did the same thing. It was amazing. And they did that for a good like 2 minutes. And I just let it go. So that was the passion, the both the anger, passion, but everyone was rooting certainly for the Yankees in that World Series, but. Listen, I'll get started here as we go through baseball, and we've got some tight races to talk about. I think the Phillies now are the only team that's going to comfortably, get in, win the division. I mean, they're up by 9 games on the Mets. The Mets aren't catching them with 16 games left, and
It's
especially
10
now,
games now.
how many?
10
They're up by
games.
10 games. Oh, that's right. It was 9 games going into yesterday. Yeah, they're not catching them. But hats off to the Phillies. They've had a great year. They've been pretty consistent, and that's the word that kills me with the Mets. I mean, the Mets, listen, have played very inconsistent baseball for the last 3 months now. It's a good thing they got off to this great start. Otherwise, they'd be nowhere in the race. And so, Kenny, the pitching has absolutely fallen apart. Sean Manaea is trying hard, but he wasn't good again the other night. He was good the last couple of innings that he pitched. Clay Holmes only made it through 4 innings last night, and I can't kill him. He's been good all year. But Ryan Helsley comes in, gives up another couple of runs last night. He comes in as a blowout game. I don't know what you do with him now. I think you just, sit him. Oh, go ahead.
something that's interesting because
Yeah,
it goes with the Yankees too, because I've seen it with a couple of guys. Is there an issue with closers coming out of the closer role and
yeah,
joining a super bullpen team? Because Helsley's been awful. Camilo Duvall has also been awful, and he was a great closer with the Giants. Do you think it's something to that? Do you
yeah,
think it's like not pitching in the ninth inning really affects them?
yeah,
Do you think part of it also is like I've got no pressure with not contender St. Louis or at the
yeah.
time not contender San Francisco?
Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago. I think that there's a whole mentality. See, I think the closer role, because it's gotten so magnified last probably 10, 15 years or so, the introduction, the whole thing, right? And now you take them out of where they don't have that crazy pressure of a pennant race, like you said. At the time, the Giants weren't in the race. Giants may win the wild card now or get in. And same thing with Helsley. I mean, there's definitely something to that because we this is not the first time that we've seen this. And so it's definitely something off with both these guys. And I mean, we almost saw it with Durant. Well, we did see it with Durant the other night, where he almost gave up this 1-0 lead that the Mets had, and then the game I went to in New York when the Mets walked him off in the ninth inning, it's kind of the same thing. And he's been overall good, much better than the two guys we're talking about. Um, but the Mets also have gone into a hitting slump in at the absolute terrible time for the last month. They've been hitting like crazy since I think that first Brave series, and all of a sudden now everybody is slumping except except Juan Soto, who is just having an amazing, amazing year, who's turned it on at the right time. And I should read his stats real quick, and then because I don't have much more to say about the Mets, they could still get in. They still have a two-game lead. There's 16 games left. If they can win 12 of these 16 games, which is not impossible, I know they get the surging Texas Rangers, who are ravaged by injuries, but yet still playing well. I know they get them this weekend at Citi Field, but if you run off Juan Soto's numbers, he's having just an amazing all around year. I'll say them real quick. He's got 111 runs scored. He plays every day. He's played in every game. He started every game. 144 games that he's in. He's got 18 doubles, 39 homers. He had his 39th homer last night. Meaningless homer, but nonetheless. 95 RBI. So he's gonna have over 40 and 100, which is great, right? He's got 118 walks. His on-base percentage, Kenny, is 401. So he's probably going to keep that over 400 for the rest of this year. His OPS is 931. And so, I mean, he's having an MVP type year, batting 264. So, um, Kyle Schwarber hits his 50th homer the other night, but he's been in a deep slump since he had that four-homer night. And there was a whole circumstance that led up to that. It's the little things in baseball. Mark Vientos would have been the third out. He takes his time, throws to first base, and Bryson Stott beats it out. Another walk, and then Schwarber hits his 50th homer that broke the game open the other night. And so, but Soto, other than him, Alonso's been still good, but everybody else has gone back into a bit of a slump. Swaggy V's been good. He had another home run the other night, and he had a big base hit in that ninth inning when they almost came back. That was against Durant. I still think the Mets will make the postseason, but boy, oh boy, man, this is getting tenuous. Without their pitching, Kodai Senga is still in the minors. Mania hasn't been good, and I just don't know that you could depend on these three youngsters that they have in the big spot. Peterson has still been good, but even he kind of got rocked the other night. And this bullpen, I mean, Gregory Soto, the other Soto, hasn't been that good of late. Trevor Rogers has been good. He's been overall good, not great. And Helsley, you're not getting anything out of him. So, um, I don't. It's a different vibe than last year, right? And I accepted that a long time ago. It wasn't going to be the dancing around like, when Iglesias' team is a little bit more business-like. not doing conga lines in the dugout. But I will say this, Kenny, and I don't mean to sound over dramatic, and then I want to hear you on the Yankees. If the Mets don't make the postseason, it's an absolute it would be a disaster with the money that Cohen spent and the trades at the deadline. And oh my gosh, Cedric Mullins, what happened? I mean, this is a big guy who's been an all-star, and he's playing fine in the outfield, although his arm is not that good, which surprises me. But he just broke a 1 for 27, a 0 for 27 slump last night with a base hit and meaningless in the ninth inning last night. And so Jose Siri came back, so he didn't play much in this series. Mullins didn't, but oh my gosh, I'm just like, why is it that someone comes to the Mets and all of a sudden they forget how to play? But um, it's tough without that really great start that they had. They wouldn't be in the postseason right now. They're only 6 games over 500, which you would expect a lot more from this team, but it's not too late to turn it around. But it's hard for me to envision a deep run this year without the good, solid starting pitching that they got last year. So anyway, that's my take on the Mets. I don't know if you have anything to add on the Mets, but would love to hear your take on the up and down Yankees, man, because they've been inconsistent as well.
Well, a couple things on the Mets. First, I think we have to also consider with Juan Soto. He's already hit 30-30. He's 40-40 is a stretch. I mean, he'd have to
Yeah,
like start
yeah,
stealing bases like he's Ellie De La Cruz. So I don't think that's happening.
right.
Um, but you also consider the start that he got off to. He's had a tremendous year.
Yeah,
Um, I think he has a chance of getting the number three spot in the MVP.
right.
I think right now you still have Otani ahead of him. I think you still have Schwarber ahead of him, but he's got to be right up there.
Yeah.
Um, Secondly, you know who the Mets would face in the playoffs if they started today?
Would it be the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that scare you?
No, no. The Phillies, the way they played would scare me a little bit more. The Padres would scare me a little bit more. The Mets seem to play well. I know they lost in 6 games last year, but the Mets overall play well against the Dodgers. They overall play well against the Phillies, except that they got the Phillies angry, when they kind of rubbed it in their nose with that sweep, a couple of weeks ago. But no, I don't think the Dodgers. See, the Dodgers have just been crazy inconsistent. But they could be. I think we're seeing how dangerous they can be with Mookie Betts now hitting again, and them getting these pitchers healthy again, like Tyler Glasnow. So, but do they scare me? No.
Well, and I would kind of agree. Also, one of the biggest issues with the Dodgers has been their bullpen.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, we saw it a couple nights ago. Tanner Scott has been kind of a disaster signing, which is ironic because that was the signing that was considered the most unfair signing in Major League Baseball
yeah,
history.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think especially you're talking a two-game series where one of those games would probably be started by Otani because they would do that to him.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think the Mets could have a shot.
yeah,
Um, as far as the Yankees go, I'll just lay out probably one of the most bizarre stats that you'll ever hear. Um, the first time ever, including the old and the new Yankee Stadium, that a team has won by double digits in back-to-back nights.
yeah,
That's what the Tigers did the last two nights.
yeah,
And it starts and ends with the bullpen. Um, I thought that the Yankees were getting into a good spot. Um, it kind of seems like they had a little bit of a rhythm. Bednar has really anchored the closer role over the last several weeks. Um, but like everybody else outside of Bednar, I don't trust at all.
yeah,
Um, Mark Leiter Jr. came in a couple nights ago, walked everybody, and then Boone finally pulls him. For whatever bizarre, unknowing reason, after throwing a billion pitches the night before, he puts him back in again last night, and once again gives up multiple walks, gets the bases loaded. Camilo Doval, he got out of the first inning and then came in for a second inning and gave up a bunch of runs. Like, to me, especially with the guys that have been a little bit shaky, I think sometimes Boone tries to stretch them a little bit too much.
yeah,
Like Duvall, I think he should have just left him after that. He only gave up one run. It was 3-0. Gleyber Torres drove in all three runs. It would have been a storybook ending for the former Yankee.
Mm.
Um, but then like you try to go a little bit too much. He gives up a couple runs. Weaver comes in, gives up a few runs. Um, and like they got to the point where they threw Austin Slater, who I don't think has played in an actual game since returning from the IL, but now is the position player pitching in the ninth inning.
Oh Lord.
Or yeah, in the ninth inning.
Yeah.
So the Yankees have to figure out the bullpen. Um, and I don't know how they can do that. The Tigers, I think for a while, you ask the typical Yankee fan who they're most afraid of in the playoffs. I think they're saying probably either the Red Sox or the Astros.
Yeah.
But I think these last two games showed that the Tigers are still really good. You
Yeah.
had mentioned that the the Phillies will be the team that wins comfortably. The Tigers are right there. I believe they're up like
Yep.
9.5 games or
Yep.
something like
Them
that.
too. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Now I do think there's still a shot for the division. They're 3 games back right now. Because luckily the Astros didn't blow another lead yesterday and they won.
Yeah.
And technically that's 3 games, but it's really four because of tiebreakers. But like through this stretch, my goal was 6-6. Um, so far they are 4-4. So like to me, I don't want to get swept by the Tigers because also that's going to leave like a very ominous taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah.
Um, However, from what it looks like, depending on how the bracket ends up, the Yankees might not face the Tigers till the ALCS if it gets there.
Yeah.
But also, like the Tigers are looking at being the best team in baseball, and hopefully the Yankees could get there. It's Cam Schlittler tonight. I think it's one of his biggest starts of his career, and that might
Yeah.
be a little traumatic, but he
Yeah.
hasn't had that long of a career, so I guess it's
Yeah.
not that dramatic.
Yeah.
Um, because head into Boston with a little bit of momentum. Um, Especially the way that the Red Sox have played the Yankees. I think that they kind of just need that momentum. I think for overall in this gauntlet of what's been now 8 games, I think they've played pretty well. Now, when they haven't played well and when they've lost games, they've lost them in awful fashion. But
Yeah.
that's been this team all year. Like you're either going to get an amazing performance, you're going to get home runs left and right, you're going to get basic fundamental baseball happening, or you're going to get like, what the heck is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Walking guys left and right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know this happened to the Yankees lead in balks. They had another one yesterday. It was a weird one though. Which I don't know if do you know this rule that if the ball ends up behind the catcher's equipment, it's automatically a balk?
No. I never heard that.
Apparently it is. That's what happened last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but like when things get sloppy, they get really bad.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing that kind of worries me, especially you're talking the postseason, where you really have to have everything tight. And a team like the Tigers, a team like the Blue Jays, um, the scrappy teams that don't like when you make mistakes, they make you pay.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with the Tigers the last couple nights.
Yeah. Yeah.
The I don't know if you saw the Blue Jays announcer um, taking shots at the Yankees
Yeah.
because
Again?
during during the first blowout, they
Well,
gave
it's
up
both Mark
9 runs in
this
the
time.
seventh
Yeah.
inning,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the Blue Jays like because I mean we're in the time of year of pennant race, so like we hear it all the time in Yankee games. Oh, well, it's in the bottom of the sixth in Toronto, and the Astros are leading. So they do that, and then they say, yeah, this Yankee team, if they aren't hitting home runs, they're super sloppy. They're not doing what they need to do, and they're not a good team. And it's kind of true. Like I don't remember the exact stat, but when they don't make an error in the game, they have a ridiculous winning percentage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also like part of it is I don't know what to do about it
Yeah.
because other than like people will always just be like bench Volpe, which he didn't
Yeah.
play last night,
Yeah.
and I think he's gonna start losing playing time. I don't know. He must have Aaron Boone on some like he's got him on some kind of like blackmail that we just don't know about.
Yeah. No,
But
I, I don't think that.
yeah,
Well, and people talking, that was Buck Martinez, which surprised me. Buck Martinez, I always liked him as an announcer. He was the early days when ESPN was doing baseball. He was pretty prominent analyst, and then he's just settled in to be there for a long time. He's been with Toronto now a long time, and but I mean that's pretty general, right? You don't make errors, you win. I mean, and so I don't know why he's making a comment about the Yankees. I think that's true for every team. Um, I listen. I'll give you this. The Tigers. I agree with you. The Tigers really look good. They straightened themselves out in that last game against the Mets, and they've been real. They've just really solid all around team, and they've got some playoff experience now from last year. They're going to be dangerous. I don't think any of us would be surprised if they got to the World Series, right? Um,
No.
Gleyber Torres. I really loved the ovation that he got from the fans. Yeah, I thought Glaber was always, I thought the fans always liked him. I mean, he took a lot of heat when he was here, but that was really good to see. You're right. The Yankees got to straighten out that bullpen. I mean, and it's hard, right? Because then who do you run out? You have to keep putting these guys out there, and we're seeing the same exact thing with the Mets. It's really hard. But the Yankees are still in position where they could get the division. They get the Red Sox this weekend. Yes.
Yeah. And also, this is like a right now. I had said who are the Mets playing, who are the Yankees playing. They'd be hosting the Red Sox.
Wow.
So
That would
this
be.
is this is big,
Yeah.
and I don't know. This is part of it. It'll be fun because like I feel like if you ask like a Gen Z Yankee fan who are the Yankees' biggest rivals, most of them would probably say the Astros
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of all of the
Yeah.
strife of the last
Yeah.
decade.
Yeah. Yeah. But we
But
know
really, it is still the Red Sox.
it is the Red Sox. Yeah, we know better. Yeah. Yeah. That's deep seated, deep rooted, man. That's never going away. Just like Dodgers Padres is a big rivalry now, but Dodgers Giants, they still don't like each other either. Let's take a hop, skip, and a jump quick around the majors, and it is just prime time. And I think for you had mentioned this to me the other day. I think the real theme here has been how these teams have gotten back into it after they were peeling off players at the deadline. And by the way, Jacob deGrom starts on Friday against the Mets. But the Texas Rangers only a game and a half out. I didn't check that this morning. I know the Mariners won again last night. The Mariners righted the ship a little bit. I think have won five in a row now. But Texas is still in it, whether it's a game and a half or two games they're out. The Giants, how they jumped in it, breathing down now the Mets at two games out. The Reds are hanging right in there. Guardians are two and a half out, I think, from what I saw last night. Ironically, they're playing the Royals. They're in Cleveland. I think the Royals won that game last night. Um, so any thoughts on these races? I mean, it's like the wild card is still up for grabs in several cities. Not all. I don't think you have a ton of teams realistically that are going to be in it these last 16 games, but the teams we just named, Texas, the Guardians, the Giants, the Reds, I think it's still realistic for them, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Guardians are 3.5 back of
Yeah.
Seattle.
Okay.
Seattle's won 5 straight now, though.
Yeah.
But also
Guardians love
Texas
the
is
game.
still
Yeah.
breathing down their neck. They're a game and a half back.
A game and a
They've
half
won
still. Okay.
four of them. They've won 4 straight.
Yeah.
Um, I think it'll be very interesting just to kind of keep because like sometimes you get that in especially since it's still early-ish September, where you kind of have that team that's kind of hanging around a little bit, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, we've got this," and, and then before you know it, they're in the playoffs, and someone that was
Yeah.
in there for a while is out,
Yeah.
which would be a totally Mariners thing to happen. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. I mean, they have the talent. They would be dangerous if they do get in. They certainly have the talent. Did you know that the Giants, speaking of, they haven't had a 30 player hit over 30 home runs in a season since 2004? Barry Bonds' last year.
Yep.
That's amazing. You might have given me that stat a while ago. They mentioned that on the game last night. I was like, that's just crazy. So Kyle Schwarber with his 50th home run. But he's such a strange player, but he's a beast, man. He always hits home runs in these big spots as well, hitting the four home runs, and then he went into this deep slump, and then he hit his 50th the other night. Did that narrow the MVP race with him and Otani?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Um, I think one of the biggest things with Schwarber is he isn't a very appealing player for like the old school voters.
Yeah.
Um, I'll pull up because what is he? He's got to be batting close to
I
like
think
what,
240 something.
230, 240?
Maybe it's lower now. I know he was in the 240s when you and I talked about it a few weeks ago. And I think no MVP has ever batted less than 260 something, I think you had said.
Yeah. Oh, he was born in Ohio. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's batting 241.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you look at like the old school voters, they'll be like, "Oh, well, he's batting 241 in this age.
Yeah.
He needs to be hitting higher." But then you'll have Otani. I think still it's going to be Otani just because he pitches too.
Yeah.
And I still hate that for
Yeah.
the record. Like that's what maybe 2021 that took
Yeah.
someone's MVP, but
Yeah.
um
I don't know what to say about that. I agree with you. The thing is that Schwarber is also going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And how many teams are in baseball? 30, right? It's not 32, it's
yeah.
30, right? I would say that 30 teams would want to have him on their team, even though, he does strike out a lot and he's always had a low batting average, but man, oh man, he hits home runs in big spots and he can carry a team like he's done with the Phillies here. I think Bryce Harper hit his 25th home run last night. So he's having a good year, but not a typical Bryce Harper, type year. So he's really carried that team. Let's touch on real
Um
quick. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
One other thing with him,
Yeah.
334 career home runs. Does he get to 500?
Yeah. Oh, I think so. How old is he? You have him up there? He's got to be in his
32.
32. Okay, that's what I was going to say. He's probably in his early 30s. Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, because he hits home runs. I mean, that's what he does. He hits home runs. So and especially if he does leave the Phillies, and let's say he goes back to the Cubs, that's probably not going to happen. But I'm just using that as an example. And but if he goes into a home run hitter friendly park, like Wrigley Field or somewhere like that, he'll just tear it up. I think you're going to see another good 4 or 5 good years from Schwarber. Very interesting player. He was a terrible outfielder, I remember, but he hasn't played the field much at all in these last couple of years. Um, Kevin, let's touch real quick in baseball. I sent you, there was a Wanda Franco wound up in the news this week where he's on suicide watch and um, just overall we're seeing maybe regret and anyway I'll let you talk. What were your thoughts when I sent you that article?
I think first it kind of shows a sense of remorse that I feel like we haven't seen since.
Yeah,
Like, and I think that that's something like I don't know if it's like I don't know if I want to say, oh well, that's a good thing, but also like it kind of shows like, especially when someone has done something as vile as he has, that like there's that sense of at least regret and maybe I've done something wrong. I think maybe it's starting to sink in that like his playing career is 100% over.
yeah,
Um, because like also you could just tell like there was that weird incident too where he thought someone stole money from him,
yeah,
is like flipping out on everyone, and they're like, no, the money's here. But then he's still upset and angry about it. Like you can tell that like he is not okay.
yeah,
And like it's hard to say, oh yeah, well just pray for it because it's like you don't really want to pray for someone that
yeah,
has done what he's done.
yeah,
But I do think that uh it does kind of seem like yes, he needs the help, and I hope that he gets the help that he needs.
yeah.
Also, I really do genuinely hope that his playing career is over because I don't think a guy like that deserves to be back in Major League Baseball. Um, Despite all the talent that he had, um, we've talked about him a lot, but Trevor Bauer deserves 5 billion times ahead of a job before Wander Franco does.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and
Yeah.
I don't think anyone will touch Wander Franco. He's still like
No,
fully on the restricted list.
no.
Honestly, like based on his criminal record now, I don't think he would even get a visa to be allowed into the country again.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no, that's a great point. I don't even think some of these other leagues would touch him now, like the Atlantic League or even like the Mexican League or places like that.
No.
But listen, he's young enough that he could turn his life around. You know, we've seen it in the past that he can repent. Um, that if in God there's nothing he can't come back from. You know, but he has to be sincere. I hope he gets the help he needs because it sounds like he really needs help. But I think that his age gives him. Well, I think it's never too late, no matter what age you are. But I think especially at a young age like that, he can certainly come back. Not come back and play. I agree with you. That ship sailed, but that's not the end all be all, right? He can come back and have a life. He can talk to folks to help them not go down the hole that he went down. Yeah, I think that. I'll give you Michael Vick, right? Certainly heinous, with him with the dogs and everything like that. Look at the guy. I mean, but now there's a lot of people that still don't, forgive him, or still he's like persona non grata. But listen, God always gives us a second chance, no matter what we've done and where we've been, right? But we have to honestly repent and turn our lives over to Him. And so I don't know if Franco's going to do that, but it certainly is not. It's never too late. But especially at that young of an age, hopefully he has the right people in his life that are going to help him do that. Um, all right, I'm ready for some football, man. What a week!
Oh my gosh.
What a week it was. All right, I'm going to rattle off a few things real quick, and you tell me what surprised you the most, and then I'm going to keep quiet and turn it over to you as we have the return of your rankings, which we loved last year. We'll post that out like we did last year as well. All right, so these are the things I'm going to ask you what surprised you the most, and you can take more than one. Aaron Rodgers' performance. I have to admire that Aaron Rodgers was honest. A lot of players will usually say it was just another game. Aaron Rodgers came out and said after the game, I thoroughly enjoyed sticking it to every single person in that organization. I will admire that because usually people will, say, no, it was just another game. He went all in, man. And he did play great. I got to give him that. And I missed most of the game Sunday. I think, because we had another event that we had to go to. So Aaron Rodgers' performance, Justin Fields played extremely well. Did that surprise you? The Bills come back. Is there something wrong with the Ravens? Vikings come back. Jalen Carter and the disgusting thing that happened on Thursday night with the spitting. Um, your guy, Daniel Jones, or the Dolphins, and the fact that uh, you know, uh, McDaniels, right? He's already on the hot seat here after one game. We did say though in our preview that the Dolphins were probably the team that would take a step back, but they play the Patriots this week, so they could kind of right the ship. So out of those things, or if there's something I didn't name, what surprised you the most on week one?
I won't even bother with the Jalen Carter thing because
Yeah.
that was awful. And also like we saw that and then there was a college football player that did the
Yep.
same thing.
Florida. Yep.
So we'll just leave that at that. Um I don't know, because like the Bills, that doesn't really surprise me. Um I loved Aaron Rodgers' reaction too, because it's like, come on, like sometimes when athletes are like, oh well, we just played another game. It's like, no, you wanted to stick it to the team that messed with you, especially with Aaron Rodgers, where they made him fly so far for a 15-minute meeting to say, yeah, we're cutting you. Um, what I think probably the most surprising thing would be Daniel Jones, who became, I think, the first player ever to score on every single possession on the first game with a new team.
Ah,
Um, it's surprising. I don't even know what to say other than oh my gosh. Because also then you look at the Giants who couldn't score a touchdown. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think also like overall in the NFL, like, is this one of the best week ones that we've seen in a long time?
probably.
Because like the Eagles Cowboys game was tight, the Chargers Chiefs game was a good one. Um, obviously Sunday night was good. The only like bad primetime game was the 425 one with the Packers and the Lions,
Yeah.
where the Packers just absolutely demolished them.
I mean, it's way too early, but the Packers look like Super Bowl contenders, man. Because it's
Yeah.
not like they beat up on a slouch team. They beat up on the Lions. And, wow, I agree with you.
And also JJ McCarthy, props to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's looking more and more like that was the right move.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. And Daniel Jones, so all right. I'll leave that there. He played great. I mean, scoring on every possession. I mean, that's not easy to do. We'll see if Indy can keep that up, and if they can, the Anthony Richardson era is probably over in Indianapolis. All right, I will keep quiet. Turn it over to you. Let's go ahead and do your rankings.
All right. Well, um, so the one that I sent you, I'm making a slight change
Yeah,
because of the Monday night game, but that's fine. So I rank them in five tiers. I'm gonna start at the bottom. MLB/NCAA. These five teams, it's better to watch baseball or football or college football than to watch them right now. The Dolphins is the first one on there.
yeah.
Um, with them on the hot seat, you might as well watch Miami University versus the Dolphins. The Saints also like it seems like it's just gonna be like this is their year that they get their lumps again, and then hopefully things can turn around. Um, the Cowboys, like the Cowboys played well, but also like there's not a lot of optimism for this team.
It's not. Yeah.
So so you might as well watch the Texas Rangers and try to see them come back. Jacob deGrom heading to Citi Field for the first time as a visiting player will be fun. And then you got the Giants, who I said would win the division, and they didn't score a touchdown. In fact, they are the first team ever to go 3 straight years without scoring a touchdown on the first week.
Oh,
And I don't even know what to do with that.
yeah.
Um, and it just hurts so much more when you look across at your former quarterback who is balling out. Um, I don't know what to do about it. And like I know Washington's a good team, and I'm not trying to underrate them, but man, that was brutal. Fun fact, I watched more of the Yankees on Sunday than I did the Giants
Well,
because of that. And also it's harder to watch the Giants, but still.
yeah.
Um that's what inspired this tier. That the baseball is a lot more. And then the Browns. The Browns it was really, really brutal. Like not because they were a bad product, but man, if you want to go and get disappointed in 5 billion different ways, watch the Browns.
Oh,
It's like they played well enough to win that game. You know, the Bengals in the second half had 4 total yards,
wow. I did not know that. Wow.
but like it all came down to their kicker, who I don't know who that guy is. He's new, but he missed a field goal and he missed an extra point,
Uh,
and the team lost by one.
oh,
So you could do the math on that.
that's
Um,
heartbreaking.
brutal.
Yeah.
Next here is throwing the red flag. Um, this is like the hold on, we got to make sure everything is okay. Like there might be a couple red flags here, but what's too early to say this team is going to be bad. The Falcons are there. They played pretty well. They lost to the Buccaneers, kind of comeback fashion. I don't know how good this team actually is. Same with the Seahawks. Like I know that they made the change from Geno to Darnold. Bad fumble at the end that could hurt you in a lot of different ways, not just in one game, but in multiple games. The Texans are weird. Um, it kind of seems like, depending on how the rest of the season goes, could we say that the best year of CJ Stroud is going to be his rookie year? Because, I
Yeah.
mean, like, it could very well be that that window closes so rapidly. Um, speaking of windows closing rapidly, Bryce Young's window as a starting quarterback could as well. The Panthers did not look good at all.
No.
I know that there's a theory out there that the Panthers will be back in the Super Bowl because the colors of the logo, and then also the last two times that they were in the Super Bowl, they started like I believe they started on the road against Jacksonville. They the previous year Ohio State won the national championship, and both of those things happened. So, but I don't know, it's not looking that way right now.
No. No,
Um,
no.
and then also the Patriots. I don't know. Patriots were supposed to be like they were kind of like the hot team to take a step forward, and it seems like their defense hasn't yet.
Yeah,
And then the Titans. I mean, it's Cam Ward's first game. There's not much to say.
yeah.
Uh, the next tier, relax. It's week one. These teams, like all of them lost. I think most of them lost, but like you can't really take too much stock into what happened because it is just week one. First is the Kansas City Chiefs. Did you know this fun fact? Patrick Mahomes has never lost three straight games.
Did not know that.
Um,
That's surprising.
so lost in the Super Bowl, lost in week one, and now they face the Eagles,
Oof.
who they've lost to two straight times.
Yeah,
If they lose, you could argue that it's the worst stretch of football that Patrick Mahomes has had. And like, still, they could be very good and all that, but like, oh, I don't know. People are gonna like if they lose it, and also you look at a lot of the stats about starting 0-2. Not a lot of teams make the playoffs, and basically no one makes the Super Bowl. So it might be dramatic to say week two is kind of a must win, but it might be for the Kansas City Chiefs.
yeah.
Um, Baltimore seems to lose more big games than anyone. I believe they have a losing record when they're leading by double digits, if I'm not mistaken, like under Harbaugh.
Wow.
I
Oh,
could
that's
have that wrong, but
yeah,
like they seem to lose a lot of big leads. And I don't really know why. Because you have a running quarterback and you have a really good running back. So like you would think that you can kind of kill the clock a little bit, but I don't know. It's something that they have to figure out. I know losing to the Bills is there's not really a lot of shame in that. It's not like they lost to like the Saints or someone like that, but they need to figure that out. The Bengals, they always look slow starting out, but the fact that they won is a miracle. It's only because the Browns missed field
yeah.
goals and extra points.
Right.
But people will start to hit the panic button that they're not good. Relax, it's only week one.
Yeah,
The Lions. The Lions faced off against the Packers. The Packers looked really good. You can't take too much stock into it.
yeah,
However, they're facing the Bears this week, and that's a huge game. I think also to kind of show it's the Ben Johnson affair game.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
the Jets, obviously, I think there's a lot of Jet fans that are like, oh man, like this defense is awful.
yeah.
No, I think Aaron Rodgers just still has a little bit left in the tank.
He does. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and he was very prepared for this game. So like everything will be fine. It's just week one.
yeah,
Cardinals won, but I don't know how good the Cardinals are. So relax, it's week one. Um, the Bears are also in this list. The Bears like can't take a lot of stock, but once again, if you start out 0-2, things start to look very bad very quickly as far I think it's like 17% of teams make the playoffs
yeah,
that start out 0-2. So you don't want to get there. And then the Broncos didn't look amazing, but it's only week one. These teams had great week ones. Um, I'll just rattle them off here. You got the Commanders, obviously they beat the Giants. The Rams, I don't know why the Rams continue to be good, but they are.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Now I said that the Giants might be the team that comes out of nowhere to do well. Maybe that team is the Colts. Maybe I just had the former quarterback on the brain. I don't know. Um, the Niners had a great week one, but also it came with a lot of costs of injuries.
Yeah,
So you're looking at like Brock Purdy's probably going to miss a couple weeks. They lost Kittle in the game.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah,
The Vikings definitely had a great week one. You can't argue that. The Steelers, I think, I forgot what the stat was. Aaron Rodgers did something that hasn't been done in a long time as far as I think it's like 300 yards, three touchdowns on a new team. Something that hasn't been done in like 40
right,
years or something like that.
right.
The Jags, I think are kind of on that. We were bad last year, but we won't be this year. So they had a great week one, and also the Raiders did.
Yeah,
I mean, they won.
peak out.
So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's probably still the toughest division in football. Definitely the best coaches in football. So good
yeah,
luck.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Last year, and I think I might keep this a constant, is we're a top five team. So these teams I think are the top five in football right now. The Eagles, it's hard to go against the defending champs that started out 1-0. The Bills, Josh Allen is looking like he wants to be two-time MVP Josh Allen. We said the Packers looked amazing. The Chargers also, I believe Justin Herbert became the first quarterback since Peyton Manning to do something this weekend. I've been hearing a lot of comps with him and Peyton Manning, but then my last one is probably the one that people would have the biggest issue with, but I don't think you should. That's the Buccaneers. Um, Baker Mayfield is actually really good,
Hmm.
and it's really, really hard for me to see that because I really want to see the Browns succeed, and they were on the cusp of doing that, and then they got rid of him for immaturity. And then he became a whole grown man in Tampa Bay and has done excellent.
He's doing commercials again, I see. I've seen
Yeah.
a couple of commercials.
Yeah.
That's
So,
yeah. I, I love it, man. That is awesome. And so we'll certainly we'll post that out there. Um, let's go into this because I think that list stood for itself, and I think it's a solid list for a great list, I think, for week one. What are you watching for this week? I'll give you the games. Well, let's start with the one that everyone's going to watch, 425. I'm sure, I think it's the CBS game or maybe it's a Fox game. Either one, they fought to, nope, let's keep that game at 425 and not put it on Sunday night or Monday night. Eagles at the Chiefs. And so you're saying it's a really big game for the Chiefs.
yeah, it's the noise about how things are going is going to go up so much if they start out 0-2. Now, if any team can drown out that type of noise, it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. But also, like, things start to get late early. Because
Mhm.
let's say the Chargers win and you're already 2 games back and you already lost to them. Um, and but also just in general, like if you start out 0-2, your odds of going far reduce tremendously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it should be a great game. I agree with you. The Chiefs, it's not going to bother them, and they're playing at home, and they're going to want a little revenge, right? So that should be a great game. Washington at Green Bay. I think that's is that the Sunday night game? No, that's the Thursday night game. That's the game tonight, actually. Washington at Green Bay. Um, that's a huge early season thing. I wish I wasn't on a Thursday night. Um, but what are your thoughts there?
I think it's a huge game for Washington
Yeah,
because they can show that they are a legit NFC contender. Um, but also I think you look at it from Green Bay's perspective, they go 2-0 against the Lions and the Commanders.
yeah,
Like I think most people are taking them seriously, especially after they got Micah Parsons, but people will kind of take them that next step.
yeah, yep. I agree. Um, we'll see. I hate when these teams have to come back on such short rest, just a few days. I imagine teams are now a little used to it. I mean, we saw the last year or two better matchups, first of all, on Thursday night, but then we saw better games, not really sloppy games and stuff like that. So this should be a really good game. Let's talk about your Giants and you've got Dallas in not in the high tier there either. Giants at Dallas. What are you expecting?
Like any hopes of the Giants winning the division would probably be gone after if they
Yeah,
lose. Um, I do expect them to at least play better.
yeah,
Um, Dallas is still just trying to figure out their lives a little bit. But also they had the longer week. Um, but we'll kind of see how things go.
yeah. Yeah, I just wonder, based on these last couple of years and the first game here, is this it for Russell Wilson? I mean, he just doesn't seem to have that spark, and I didn't see much of that game at all. But some of the highlights, he's missing guys that are open, and he seems a step slower even. And he's such a great champion, competitor, leader. But I'm just wondering, will the Giants win with him? I almost would have rather had saw. I mean, you know how I feel about Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston does have the propensity, though, to throw the big interception late in the game or something like that, or make a big mistake. But I'm just wondering why. Jameis Winston wasn't the starter, and then Jackson Dart then gets screwed. I don't know, but I don't think like he said that probably Wilson will start the first 3 games at least or something like that. Debo said I can't see if like there's a bad first half that you don't bring one of these guys in, right? Because I think the season could get away from the Giants pretty quickly. And Dallas still is very talented. There's not a lot of expectations there now, but they're still pretty talented. So that's going to be an interesting game to watch. You mentioned this Bears at the Lions. I think that's a huge game for both teams, right?
Oh yeah. I think for the Bears, you look at it, you're Caleb Williams still hasn't shown in a year and a game that he is like as good as people have projected him to be. So I think he really needs to show it. But also Ben Johnson, I think really needs to show that he's a good head coach. It's like a couple of like little mistakes here and there, but nothing huge. Um, but then also from the Lions, like, are we looking at that team that could be plummeting this year? Because if they
Yeah.
start out 0-2, like people will start looking at like, well, they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator. Maybe they're taking a step back. So
Yeah,
definitely a big game for both teams.
I think so. I totally agree. Um, Bills at the Jets, big game for the Jets, do you think?
Yeah. Um, like I don't know how big expectations are in general, like especially in that front office. I don't think there's lofty expectations, but like with any of these teams, like you don't want to start out 0-2 and then kind of start getting into your head, especially for teams that have struggled the last few years. Because like a team like the Giants are going to start mailing it in mid-October. The Jets as well. You just don't want to get there.
Yeah, yeah. I think the Jets will show up really well against the Bills. It's hard for me to see them be, especially the way the Bills played, and they're on a high with that comeback. And we talked about this in our preview, right? The Bills window could close, after this year. Bills, Ravens, Bengals, these teams that have been good now for several years, but haven't gotten over the hump, could see their window start to close. But I liked what I saw in the highlights of Justin Fields. I think that we've got a pretty good quarterback here. And so, but the Jets defense was, from what I saw, was not good at all. So here's the last. Well, I got 2 more games for you. This is huge right there. The Browns at the Ravens. What are you expecting?
Um, it's a very interesting game. I don't know if you know this. This is the Ravens' 30th season,
Oh,
and so they're celebrating that in their home opener, which is obviously Sunday.
yeah.
And of course,
Ravens who
they're
used to
doing
be the
that in
Browns. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, they're doing that in front of the Browns.
Yeah.
Um, but also the irony is that the Browns starting quarterback is the guy that last won the Super Bowl for the Ravens. So it's all full circle.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the Ravens are going to come out very angry. But also like with any divisional game, people will be like, "Oh yeah, the Ravens won like 30-6." It's probably going to be like a very close game. And if the Browns don't blow it again with kicking, maybe they can actually win it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then the Ravens start out 0-2. So then you start to hear the pressure there as well. Last one is a Monday Night Football doubleheader. I'm sure you're going to be up watching the 10 o'clock game. I think that's Chargers
Oh yeah.
Raiders. It's the late game. But the first game, which is starting a little earlier, which I like, 7 o'clock, Tampa Bay at Houston. And you mentioned Tampa Bay, you put them in your top five. And you mentioned that Houston is that window sort of closing on them. I thought they would have matched up well against the Rams, and it wasn't a blowout or anything like that. But I mean, the Rams won that game. This is a desperation game for the Texans as well, don't you think? What are you expecting here?
Yeah, I would agree that it is kind of a desperation game
Yeah,
for the Texans because also you're looking at your division. What if Jacksonville wins and what if the Colts win? And like I'm making it sound like divisional races matter in September, but they kind of do. Like if you have two teams in your division that are 2-0 and you're 0-2, good luck in trying to get back into that race. It's going to take you at least a couple of games. And if you've already lost to one of them, it makes it even worse.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, definitely a big game.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree that it's going to be fun. It's going to be another fun weekend with all the baseball, Texas and the Mets, interleague matchup this late in the season, and the Yankees, Red Sox, and then all the football as well. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I thought you did a great job with your tiers. We'll post those out there. Um, you ready for some inspiration?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Ken, I had a whole story that I was gonna do. There's a high school coach that got put on leave. He's probably gonna get fired for praying with his players. I had the details and everything, but I'm gonna hold that off until next week because I think what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk, and we're not political or anything like that. Um, I don't think anybody deserves to get assassinated. And we've heard that word way too much in the last couple of years, assassinated. It's just it's crazy. I never thought we would go back to hearing that word. You know, I'll say this about Charlie Kirk withholding my opinion on everything else, which is overall really good. I don't have any take on Charlie Kirk that, I didn't like, and maybe because I'm not as political, but um what I did like was that he was a guy who went out and had discussions. I mean, it's not like he's going out and just making speeches, right? He's listening to people, answering questions, a lot biblical, and biblically he's crazy sound. But the inspiration for me a little bit, because you can't take anything from inspiring from what happened yesterday, but I saw where Lamar Jackson retweeted something about Charlie Kirk in a very positive way, Lamar Jackson of the Ravens, and he all of a sudden is taking so much heat, probably because he's African American. And I'm just like, and he hasn't, to his credit, he hasn't answered. Lamar Jackson is a very interesting dude. He doesn't say much. He's one of the best athletes I think of our time that we've seen at quarterback. Um, and so I'm just that whole theme, Kenny, of being able to have a disagreement, but not hate, right? And there's such a fine line. And I think Charlie Kirk, for most of the times that I've seen, hit that sweet spot, right, where he's able to disagree with people, but yet not hate on them. Lamar Jackson, same way. He hasn't responded, and I don't think he will. But he's taking something that, you look at someone 31 years old, two small children, just married, a few years back. I mean, it's ridiculous because you may disagree with his ideology or something he says, his politics. Um, and it's obviously as someone that is knows what they're doing, right? Fires this thing from 200 yards out. But God, there's all these college kids there. You could have hurt anyone else too. I mean, it's just awful. But what comes to me is, someone like Lamar Jackson saying, and I'm just making an assumption, maybe he didn't agree with everything of Charlie Kirk, but yet he still retweets something that, is saying, prayers, for his family and everything. So anyway, in this dark day yesterday, and we're called to shine that light, right? Um, that's kind of my inspiration from for today. I'll get back to that full story next week, but for today, we'll just leave it there.
Yeah, it is there's a few thoughts that came to my mind. Because yeah, like one of the beauties of America is that you can have whatever belief you want and you should still be fine. Yet someone that had just simply a different belief, he wasn't calling for like any type of violence or anything. In fact, I think most of the time he said like violence is not a way.
Right.
And yet he still got killed for it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And also, like, there's not a lot of people that are willing to listen to people that are on the other side of the aisle,
Yeah.
whatever aisle that might be.
Yeah.
And he was one of those that were willing to do so.
Yeah.
Um, I'll add one more thing and then I'll get into my inspiration story. A little lighter, kind of, a little more interesting, but um, something else that I saw is as soon as the word got out, Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings said that he's willing to pay for college and any other expenses that need to happen for Charlie Kirk's family,
Yeah. Wow.
which is tremendously generous, and shout out to him for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, so my story comes back from Friday. I'm going to start out with the Bible verse, actually. Proverbs 26:4. Don't answer the foolish arguments of fools, or you will become as foolish as they are.
Yes. Okay.
Um, so you might know where I'm going with this story already. Fun incident that happened in Miami. Harrison Bader, who you talked about, red hot,
Oh gosh. Yeah.
um,
Go ahead.
hits a home run. Now, we have not had the amazing pleasure of catching a home run ball or a foul
No.
ball
No.
in the dozens of games that we've gone to together and separate.
Right.
Um, but home run ball lands in the stands in an empty row. There's a little bit of a tussle over it, and this guy ends up with the ball. Brings it back to his son, who they're celebrating his 10th birthday. He's excited, like, he's like, yeah, I got this. Like, as a dad, me getting a home run ball like that would be amazing. Especially for, like, my team. Harrison Bader's probably not his favorite player because he's not a Philly for that long. But still, like, it would be an awesome story. And then the lady now known as Philly Karen comes by and starts berating this guy. I don't know, you've probably seen the video, but
Yes.
like the second that she comes up and the guy's like, oh gosh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like jumps out, she starts yelling at him that like, oh, this was my ball first, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, okay, whatever, lady, gives her the ball. And like there's been a lot of people online that have been like, well, he didn't stand up for his son. He should have like fought back at her. I go back to that Bible verse. Don't answer the foolish argument of fools, or you will become as foolish as they are.
Yeah.
I think he did the right thing by
Did
letting
the
her
right thing.
walk. And
Yeah.
I think social media in general has as well. Because after that, not only does he get to not only does like the Marlins staff come over and like, yeah, no, that's not okay. They give this guy like a big gift bag of like, kind of like, we're sorry you got overtaken by a Karen. Like, we're really sorry. But then after the game, Harrison Bader, who obviously hit the ball, goes and meets with this young man, gives him an autographed bat, gets to like actually talk to a Major League Baseball player, and everything goes well. But that's not the end of the story. Supposedly, there's this guy that tweeted out that he's going to make sure that these guys make it to the World Series this year, and also is gifting the dad an RV,
Wow.
which
Wow.
like to me is
Yeah.
incredible. And
Yeah.
like we just talked about it, there's a good chance the Phillies make the World Series.
Yeah.
So imagine like going from not getting a home run ball to getting to meet Harrison Bader, getting an autographed bat, and then going to see the Phillies potentially in the World Series. What a
Wow.
story. But
Yeah.
then also on the other side, Karen has become like the public enemy number one in the Twitterverse and also just in social media in general. And the part that I don't fully agree with is supposedly she works at a school, but now has been since fired because of this incident. Now, I understand the sentiment, but also like it's not like she was like sleeping with a student. It's not like she was violent. She was just kind of a jerk. And to
Yeah.
me, you shouldn't get fired for that. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's a good example of, once again, I'll read the verse again. Don't answer the foolish arguments of fools, or you will become as foolish as they are.
Yeah.
I'll throw out another verse in James. We are to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry.
Yeah.
I think it's important to kind of just have that mindset because, especially like going back to the Charlie Kirk assassination yesterday, I think sometimes we get so upset and so angry at stuff where I think the Bible is trying to tell us that we need to take a step back,
Yeah.
relax, and let's let fools be fools. If people are arguing with you on the internet,
Yeah.
just ignore it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, because we get that sometimes on our church pages, like, people will be like, oh, like, Why are you talking about this religious nonsense? Well, we're a church. Do you want us to be talking about baseball? Or do you expect like the top 10 hamburgers in Ohio? Like, we're a church. That's what we're going to talk about.
Right,
But
right.
yet, like, I've taken to, like, because I could say exactly that to them, but I don't. I just delete it or ignore it. Because sometimes ignoring it, other people will kind of like respond, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
whatever. So,
yeah,
just as an encouragement, especially like in a very sensitive time, because like over these next few days, there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of opinions about whether Charlie Kirk was a good guy, a bad guy, should have gotten killed or not. Like, regardless of all of that, we need to just have the mentality of we don't need to respond to people that we don't necessarily agree with. We
right.
don't need to have that sense of hatred. Just
Yeah.
let fools be fools.
You know, first that's great inspiration. I'm glad you brought that story up. And just I can't let your last point go without saying how much I agree with that. And the irony is that Charlie Kirk, agree or not, right? It was a guy that was out there having conversations, which nobody does these days. They have him behind a keyboard, and he's out there live in person, listening to people and young people. And you're right. I mean, and listen, this could be a whole other story. And I used to talk about this a little bit on the leadership podcast. I'm with you. I don't think they've identified who this lady is, right? Yet. And I don't care about that. Who cares? I'm with you though. That has changed over the years. You used to couldn't be fired for something you did outside of work, unless you were arrested and stuff like that, and then you couldn't fulfill, the job that you were given because you were in jail or something like that. Um, I don't think people should be fired for one bad moment. And we don't know if this is just one bad moment. And yes, are you now representing a school or you're representing a church or anything like that? But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I don't think that's kind of a really extreme thing to do. And now, it's pretty legal now, whereas that years ago it wasn't. And so if she was fired, I'm really not surprised about that by that. Um, should she have been fired? Well, I lean towards no because she wasn't at work. She's working at school though. But is that what did that happen? 15 seconds? Is that representative totally of the person that she is? I don't know. Maybe did she get caught up in the moment? I don't know. It was pretty bad afterwards too, right? She's giving the fingers to other fans and stuff like
Yeah, and like she's not. It'd be something else if she was wearing like blah blah elementary school shirt.
that.
Like she's wearing a Philly shirt.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and also I don't know. And you don't know what kind of state she was in. You don't know
yeah,
if she's been drinking or not.
yeah,
And like some of that still like you unless like for me, like if there was a video of me being drunk as a pastor that has agreed to not drink,
right.
then that would be an issue.
That's different.
But
Yeah,
like but like I don't she's not like representing the school.
right.
She's not saying on behalf of such and like to me it's a little extreme to get her fired.
Yeah, yeah. That's all changed over the years. It really has. I'll just say this real quick.
Yeah.
At Sprint, there was a hard and fast rule. If you were caught on tape, on video, and wound up on, Facebook or MySpace back then or whatever, and if you were wearing something with the Sprint logo and you were caught either drinking you were automatically gone. But if you weren't and you were still caught, then you didn't. You might have gotten a talking to, you know, but you weren't fired. Those laws have changed over the years, and now companies can go ahead and let you go if they've caught you on social media saying or doing something, and you might not have worked, you might have been on vacation, haven't worked for the whole week. So I'm not so sure that that's the right thing. I guess depending on the position and job as well, like you gave the example of a pastor and, you're drunk. Well, wait a second, Kenny, this is against your book of discipline. What are you doing? No, but that, I mean, listen, by the way, last thing, I was asked by one of your siblings, Daddy, would you have done the same thing? And I told him absolutely. I wouldn't have stood there and argued with her. I would have said, "Hey, we'll go buy you a baseball. I'm sorry, give it to her. I don't care." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I could see Isaac being upset about it,
Oh
but I
yeah,
would do the same thing.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I, because also like you don't know how much that's gonna escalate, and like
yeah,
the guys talking about it afterwards is like I just wanted to de-escalate the situation,
yeah,
and like that's the approach that more people need to have. Like it's about
yeah,
trying
yeah,
to not just go like battle with each other. Um,
yeah,
we need to see that more.
yeah. And look at all the blessings that came because he de-escalated. You know what I mean? Might go to the
Yeah,
World Series, going to the World Series. Maybe seeing the Phillies in the world. Oh gosh, Phillies Tigers, right? Two best teams. Or Brewers. Brewers have
oof.
actually been the best team, you know. So, all right, man. Good discussion. You ready to take us home,
Yeah, this is Kenny Squared End.
Kenny?
With sports on the positive tip. Have a great weekend.